leave with pay. We do have one ready for you to share, and then afterward we do have a proposal on Article 3, the grievance, which is really just one minor change that we have on it.
Okay.
So, we'll go ahead and start with the counter on 16.
Okay. It's okay, minor, I'll make that sometime. Tony, I'm gonna warn you now, I forgot headings on half of our proposals.
What happened on how?
The headings didn't print.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Good time.
So,
That's great.
Okay, so Article 16, we agree with the clarification of educator versus teacher. There's no problem there. So the first substantive change is on the second page under B, personal leave. We know you had some proposed language. What we are countering with is regarding the 3 personal days. We want to add, at the end of each academic year, educators will have a choice of either roll over and or cash out their unused personal leave days, and no more than a total of 2 personal days may be rolled over to the following school year, and an educator is limited to no more than 5 personal days to be utilized in any one school year. Our interest, of course, is in making sure, as I'm sure with you as well, that we have the fully licensed teacher in front of the kids as much as possible, right? So we don't necessarily have a disagreement that there should be some consideration for it. We just want to have some guide rails that are really focused on keeping people as much as possible within the classroom. Okay. The next paragraph is a little bit of guidance, so to speak. So if an educator elects to roll over unused personal days in the next school year, they shall notify the district by the 2nd Friday in May. And then, of course, each employee shall be paid for unused personal leave at their per diem rate. I think you actually had proposed first. I thought you had actually proposed a substitute rate, which was a little bit lower of a rate. We're saying we should, if it's a day of work in a way, when you still think about it, you should be compensated for that. So we are willing to say the per diem rate. Okay. Moving forward, we're also willing to say, to be consistent with some of our other employee groups that we're working with, that 2 days, so this is in C, 2 days of bereavement leave will be granted on no more than 2 occasions in the case of death of a friend or relative who does not meet the definition of immediate family. We agree on the change of the court appearance in jury due to the title or subtitle. You probably all know, just as in legal construction, that the titles themselves aren't language. They're really titles themselves are put in to call people attention to the particular article. Just in case people didn't know that, one of those things they teach you in law school, that the titles themselves really don't mean much. That's why you always want to be clear in the language, right? So, in service, I think, again, that in there, we're thinking in terms of the personal or professional leave section, that picks up a lot of what the in-service leave is. So for professional leave, we would like to counter with, at the beginning of each school year, each professional educator shall be credited with 2 accumulative days to be used for professional leave during the contract year. An educator must receive prior approval from their direct supervisor for a professional leave request. Additional days can be granted upon superintendent or designee approval. An exemption will be made for career technical educator as it pertains to their licensure, certification, and position requirements. So there's very clear limits on when that applies. It just doesn't mean as a CTE instructor you can go and do something that's totally outside your license.
Yoga and bowling.
Yep. Professional leave may be used for the following. Visitation to view instruction techniques or exemplary programs, conventions, conferences, workshops, or seminars related to PK-12 education, racial equity, climate justice, or the professional educator's assignment with the district. Some of that is your language. And then other professional activities as may be approved by the superintendent. I will go ahead and give you a precursor because Along with professional leave, there's also an article we have in the contract that talks about tuition reimbursement and the use of that fund. We will come with you with some language that also clarifies that a little bit, and I bring it up in terms of here with some of the qualifications we want to make sure we have on that professional leave, because there has been several cases in the last few years, even before my time, where sometimes the leave or tuition reimbursement is used for some things that I think you might say on the margin have educational value, but when we have a limited pool of resources to support people, that we don't necessarily feel that they are the most wise use of that time or resources. I'll give you the example, which some of you may, I think I've even maybe brought up with you in certain times, is the example of when individuals during summertime will often do the 2 or 3 week, foreign, across the overseas trip.
Yeah.
We're not saying that doesn't have some value, but we're thinking, again, when we're working with a limited pool of resources and time, where do we want to put that emphasis? So I only bring that up now. It's not technically this article, but it's related in a way, because if people come and ask for professional leave for those reasons, under these guidelines, since it would fall under that optional one of C, which is as approved by the superintendent. I'm just saying, moving forward with this, it may well be that the superintendent, may not approve if a request for a professional leave day was to go to, visit, I don't want to sound flippant about it, okay, but let's say you're going to go visit the Harbor Seals, okay? There's limits, okay, that's what I'm getting at, okay?
We have a proposal for you for tuition
Okay,
today.
cool.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, and then on subsection 5, section K, educators may be granted a maximum of 20 days. There, I think we have an error there, because we had 20 days, hours of prorated based on the member's FTE for either the educators or immediate family member's illness. Refer to the family OFLA, FMLA, PLO member definitions. If an educator's own illness necessitates additional days, an extension may be granted up to 10 days per request. Hours are prorated based on the member's FTE. So what it is, it can be confusing to read that. So what it's basically saying is that you can grant a minimum of 20 days, but it could be prorated based on your FTE. So I don't know if you'll see that as, if that language as it's provided here is actually confusing. So in which case I would invite you to think if you want to propose, counter with something. But that's what we mean by that, okay? Just,
yeah, it's what we had.
Yeah,
okay,
that's their language.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, okay.
We're good.
Does my team want to provide any commentary or clarification on any of the items?
I just want to say I really liked your personal proposal. I thought it was a really cool way to reward people who are planning effectively, and I really liked it. So.
The only thing that shifted was the word used, flex.
Yeah.
We just shifted it to personal leave. That's the only thing I had.
We didn't want it to be confusing with,
Yeah, flexing your,
Time,
yeah.
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 That's fair.
Yeah, which is, being that we have both licensed and classified employees, flex time also has
Yeah.
classified employee considerations, right? Do you all have any questions for us on Article 16?
So in professional leave, then, you're saying there's no, cumulative, we had said that no more than 4 days in any year, which is totally fine if you don't want to put a limit on it. I just want to make sure that that wasn't,
We have a limit right here.
am I staring at it?
It said no more than 5 personal days utilized in 1 year.
No, the professional leave.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
got
professional.
personal
Oh, sorry.
An I.
I was on personal.
I think I remember us talking about that
We did talk
intentionally,
about it,
just
Okay.
in case there happened to be a conference that was a week-long conference for CTE or
Okay.
something like that,
That
that we
works
wanted
for
that
us.
flexibility.
Well, it says during the contract year,
Yeah.
so.
Anyone else have any questions? Nope. I think we're good.
We'll go ahead and then also share with you our single change to Article 3, the grievance procedures. 4 changes, okay. So, did you ready to pass that one out? Marissa? Okay, thank you. All righty, so the grievance procedure 1, there are a few other changes that are more grammatical, and which that's why you don't necessarily see them all fully highlighted, because they would normally be what we call Scrivener's errors, which are just clean up on grammatical language. The substantive one, though, is that in the procedure, step D3, that if a grievance is provided to the school board, we have in there now the clerk of the board, but that we would prefer, of course, be the board secretary, which is currently, Debbie's position.
Yeah, that's what she calls herself.
Yeah.
So.
Any comments from Marty?
Pretty light change.
Hey, if we can clear them off, right? Why
Yep.
not, right?
Yep.
Okay. And that's what we have for right now.
Okay.
And I think you have one for us, right? Or
We have 2 counters
Okay.
and 4 new proposals and
Okay.
2 that we want to open but discuss before we give you language.
Oh, okay.
Good.
We worked really hard.
Yeah,
We
you
did.
Yeah, you did. And I brought snacks.
I brought snacks.
I brought snacks too because we're.
Yeah, the sugar-fueled counter proposals.
Yeah.
Love that.
Nice work.
Huh, it works.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can deal with that.
So my apologies for writing in. The headings will be on it when I email Marissa the digital copies, so again, it's that late night. Tony, do you mind if we just go in number order instead of counter and regular? Is that cool?
Okay.
Okay. So for voluntary payroll deductions, we just have one tiny change in 5B. Change in employment status. Currently, it's just notifying the SFEA member, or OEA membership specialist. We would like add in that the president gets alerted too. It's a clerical error thing on our end that gets, our membership list gets all messed up. So,
That makes sense.
just so we could get copied on that one, they do.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it for that one. And 5, I don't want you to have a heart attack on, there is an explanation.
Yeah.
In association rights and responsibilities, Article 5 in G. Currently, there is 16 release days for the president or designee. And then we want to add in there released for up to 0.5 FTE. And the reason is because in October, we'll be applying for a grant with NEA that will cover the cost of a half-time president FTE. So we'll know next year about whether or not we get that grant, that they would cover, like the 16 days that are currently paid for by the district would be your contribution, and then NEA would cover the difference for that, for a half-time release president, so that we can better manage and have a handle on our wide geographic status of a district to be able to be
May I ask,
in every building.
Yeah.
may I ask a question on
Yeah.
that? So
You're
for,
right.
so
We knew
for,
you would.
One thing with the 0.5 FTE, are you suggesting that there be like entire flexibility with the 0.5? So for instance, one could argue 0.5 could be meaning one semester you take off and the other semester you work full time. It could also be that, that literally all 5 days of the week you're working half-time, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say that, we would want clarification on what you would mean by that, because you can see it can affect scheduling,
Yeah.
right, and the hiring of positions, right, and
Yeah.
continuity of instruction. So
So-
that's my question.
My question is, if the president was on a 0.5 FTE
Yeah.
inside a building, what happens when, and they've reduced that down and we've backfilled it somehow? what happens if they're not president anymore? I mean, like, you gotta go back, do they retain rights to come back in, like, or is it a leave of absence? Or
That's our hope. We were also wondering if it would be easier to do as a side letter rather than having it in the contract, if that would be easier. It wouldn't take effect until the 2027, 2028 school year. So it's not this coming school year, it would be the year after that.
I wish we, yeah.
So,
What's the lifespan of the grant?
3 years,
3-year grant.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have the grant information
Yeah,
on?
can
I
you
can
send
email
us
it to you.
language on that?
Yeah,
I
that'd
can
be
email it to you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
But we wanted to start a conversation about it now than after the
Oh, yeah.
grant happened.
Yeah,
Thank
So,
Thank you. Okay.
all right, and then we have number 7 is our counter on personnel files. So we are in D, again, the hard copy was ours. We would prefer to keep the original language of being able to, purge the working file when there's a change in administrator. We would like to default back to just keeping that in. doing
So
that.
okay, so you've gone back to original language.
Yeah.
Do you normally color that when you do that? Because like we could have missed, is that how you normally do this, where it's not,
No, we just leave it as,
you just leave it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just, it's harder to track.
and then in 2, we had the, signature acknowledges just the document has been presented. We are also fully in agreement with your 2A that you added if there's a refusal, that it is unnoticed dated.
Did your declination word stand?
Good job.
Questions on that one?
Oh, we didn't change your personnel file? And
Yeah,
that
is
one
that
I
what-
just noticed?
That was to working file, I think.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the working file. We didn't change it either.
I don't know that it, so, because we're talking about a disciplinary document, I think that it's appropriate to leave it as personnel. Because our disciplinary documents are retained in personnel files, so I don't know that it's,
Yeah, we would.
It is actually wrong. Okay.
I think it is.
We had said
wrong.
working
Yeah.
file last time, so.
Okay.
Okay.
You're noting that, Marissa?
let me,
Other questions? Okay.
All right. Number 10, the only, aside from changing teacher to educator, the only change we have is under 5. That in case of hazard or threat to employee, there may be suspended pay with pay pending investigation. Notified of the reasons for suspension and the date and time to meet with the superintendent or designee for the possible dismissal within 24 hours. We would like to have some sort of timeline on when that person's notified that, for the reasons why they're on suspension, and when that meeting will be, instead of, it can be several days before they find out why they were suspended.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Okay, so I just want to ask again for clarification then. So the 24 hours both refers to from the reason that gives rise to the suspension, or is it really about the 24 hours to make sure the person gets the opportunity to meet with the superintendent?
It is just the notification of the reason and then when that meeting date would be within 24 hours.
Okay.
Not that the meeting would occur within 24 hours, just that we're going to be meeting
It's on
at
the
this point
calendar.
in
Yeah.
24
that's
hours.
right, with reasons.
So if you have a better way to word that.
I just worry that like the building rep is gone or you're gone or like there's not union coverage or I'm gone. Like 24 hours is tight, like
Okay.
maybe a little bit longer so that we can make sure we're all assembled. You know,
Okay.
because I could be gone, I could be at COSA,
Yeah.
like the last time when I heard about one of these weird things and I was like, I'm not there right now.
That's why we put a time frame in.
Yeah, okay, so it's kind of tight, but yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I can see having a timeline on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Other questions?
I know you guys think I sit in my office, it's not real. I run
Haven't
around
seen
a
her all
lot.
week, actually, yeah.
It's a lot of running.
All right.
Okay.
13, our counter for 13. So A, the first and second paragraphs are the same. We understand we need some flexibility with the Superfund executive order and all that.
Yeah.
We're fine with calendar committee identifying 3 days. We scratched out minimum of though, so that it can only be 3 days. It can't be more, and we would like to see those days with no more than 2 days per semester, so that second semester doesn't get hit with less school than the first semester and creates uneven, like for high school classes and things like that, that we can see issues with. And then in B, we added 1. We had talked about if you're in multiple buildings, one's closed, one's not. So this is the language we came up with. Educators who are directed by a supervisor in writing to perform work at an alternate site during an emergency closure shall be considered to have worked their contracted day. In the event the district requires the closed day to be made up at a later date, the employee shall be compensated at their per diem or hourly rate for the additional day worked. Verification of work performed on the closure shall be documented on a district time card and signed by the administrator.
Okay. I did get more information on the instructional minutes thing, so.
Okay.
That is a temporary executive order ruling, so it's not totally finalized, and so there's a rules committee that's being put together, and so they're taking input from superintendents. And
Okay.
so currently, the way it sits right now, like, we can't count the 60 hours of, conferences and all those things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're over, so we have cushion and we're fine right now. Like, we
Okay.
have more instructional minutes and hours than some people do, so we're not like right on the line like some people. 4-day week people are right on the line.
Yeah.
Like, they have zero cushion. But I will say that, like, I asked the question about Silvercrest, like, in the middle of the superintendent meeting. I raised, on Zoom, I'm like 180 of us. And I said, what about, buildings at high elevations? Like, we have a building that's at like 1,600 feet in elevation. And they're like, we have no good answer for you right now. Like, they had no guidance on it currently. It is on the list of important things that we need answers to.
Okay.
Because what I told them is, I said, so, 1 year we had 2 days in the regular district and we had 17 in this building. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, how it reads right now, once that building drops below 900, they're making days up. So, that's complicated for us.
Yeah.
Ergo, probably the rationale for having some language that provides some of that
Yeah.
flexibility if needed. So,
Yeah.
okay.
And then C, we left it the same as you had proposed it last time as well.
Any questions from the group? Did you have one, Marissa? Okay, okay.
But the only one I have is on the calendar committee piece, where no more, so that means, no more than 2 days could be added after first semester. Am I reading that right?
Well, the
How I-
calendar committee identifies
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Just makeup days, not like within the calendar, not if we needed to make up and add school days to the end of the year. That's separate than the
That's
makeup calendars
separate
within.
from that.
Yeah, I worded it
Yeah.
that, that paragraph really assures what will the calendar committee do.
Right.
The other language would still provide the district the necessary flexibility if for instructional hours, we did have to add another day.
Yeah.
I can see, but a lot of this is to make sure that as a committee's thinking about where those days might be, not just to jam them all up,
Yeah.
try to spread them a little evenly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is a good idea, the spreading over the semesters, because like if you have smoke days or heat days or any of those
Yeah.
things at the front end, or you have a truss or whatever, like you should have a couple extra
Yeah.
identified
Yeah.
in other places.
We can make up one on the first semester so then you're not
Yeah.
Yeah.
struggling second semester.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And,
And one more, right?
yeah, one more, last one.
Number 20.
And Matt's gonna take this one.
Yeah, so Article 20, tuition and professional development pool. We proposed, so the pool shall be $144,000 for the duration of the 2026 to 2028 CBA. And then we kept the percentages of the allocation the same. So the district will allocate up to $84,960 or 59% for tuition reimbursement per year. And then $59,040, which is 41%, to the professional development pool. any unused funds from the tuition reimbursement pool at the conclusion of the CBA reallocated. Essentially, we're just saying it reallocate at the conclusion of the CBA as opposed to each year.
Yearly, okay.
Yeah, so it looks like a big jump in numbers, but it's actually going from once a year to every 2 years. So just kind of allow
Gotcha.
people to have a little bit more resources to go and do those things and be able to plan ahead and
Yeah.
have the resources.
Yeah, so you didn't triple it, it's just.
It is
Yeah.
not tripled, no,
Right.
it's actually, it comes out to 36,000 more than it was, and we just used cumulative inflation over the last, I believe 2018 is when these numbers
Yeah.
were put in the contract.
And I went back all the way to our 2012 contract, and just for perspective of how much that number hasn't changed, the tuition reimbursement, we didn't have PD in this year, but we did have tuition reimbursement, and that was $31,616, and we're currently at $32,000 right now in 2026.
Okay.
So it's been a while since it's been
Yeah.
upped
Do
as
we
well.
burn through that every year?
So it reallocates so the tuition reimbursement is one that pays out pretty significantly. The professional development one has a lot of unused funds at the end of the year. But the tuition reimbursement definitely does.
Gets used.
Get used, yeah.
So before you move forward, and since we're already kind of getting into some questions, with, which I understand the move to making it a sum total for the 2 years of the contract, but when you get to the part about allocating up to $84,960 for tuition reimbursement per year, are you really more referring to the allocation percentages? Because, you know, there could be a question about, let's say of the 144, we ended up using 100 in the first year. Would that mean we would still have to add another, a full 84? Because then, see, that would make it 184 as opposed to 144. So I just want to, you know, and it made sense when we would say per year when we were only talking about a yearly pool amount, right?
Right.
So I'm just wondering if,
Yeah.
if you had some clarification on that.
That's just a mistake. It should say per the CBA. It was to still follow the every 2 years
Okay.
as well. We just missed that one.
So we would say, so
We don't.
for tuition reimbursement per the duration of the contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So then, wouldn't you just take the numbers out in that second sentence? Leave the percentage?
Well, I think the percentage equals that number, we're just taking out the per year, and it'll just say per CBA.
Yeah, I
Per
just-
years there.
I missed
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Question and all that, so just want to just make sure, so that
Yeah.
could theoretically mean, let's say it's a heavy year, year one, that could be exhausted out of a 2-year CBA.
Potentially.
Okay.
Okay.
We doubt it, but potentially.
So then, we don't have any other changes in that article until C1. Wanted to add in professional development funds may also be used for non-credit activities such as professional license renewal fees. And then at the bottom here, the cost of substitutes made necessary by attendance at conferences for which expenses are paid from the fund shall be borne by the district and shall not be charged against the fund.
Question?
Just as somebody who kind of oversees the process of the professional development annually, like the rollover and the applications and all of that, I guess I'm trying to understand really why we want it at the end of the CBA as opposed to the fiscal year, because as far as for me, for process, I gotta tell you, much easier to remember an annual deadline versus a biannual deadline. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, good, I was gonna miss this. So I'm wondering if there's a significant reasoning for that, or?
We're
if-
not HR, that's it.
Okay.
Try not to
Okay.
make Marissa crazy.
Yeah, we don't want to make you cry, Marissa.
Well, I also just don't want to miss things. Missing things makes me feel terrible. And so I just wanted to kind of understand the reasoning before I suggested anything else.
No, and then, the reason, then it would be, Futures would get $1,300 over to use once in the 2 years then.
Okay.
So then pair up with that professional leave so that they could go on an extended conference if they needed to or wanted to, or, you know, something out of state instead of,
Yeah, AP conference or something.
yeah, exactly. You know, PBIS, the ELD conference, there's
Yeah.
quite a few that would
There's
help
several things.
cover, yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. This, as you might imagine, thank you for the, you know, comprehensive list of proposals. As you might imagine, this will take us a while
Oh, yeah.
to work through. So I would say give us an hour.
Okay.
Because that way, at least if we get through some of them, we can, you know, even if we don't get through all of them, we get through some of them, we can come back and hopefully maybe get to some TAs. Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you all. And Daniel, I assume is push the button? Okay, we're good. So the first one I have for you all is Article 4. We have a tentative agreement. So Marissa, I want to pass those two out.
I get you, Marissa.
And Article 13, we have a tentative agreement.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Article 5, the board, oh, you need to pass out the packets, right? Sorry, Marissa. Okay. Okay, so Article 5, the board is willing to entertain the, you know, the possibility of looking at release time, but we would want to do it as part of a letter of agreement at such time that you get actually do the formal receipt of the grant, and then we can have some conversation. We do reiterate, though, that our interest is going to be in however that may end up looking, finding a way to make sure it has a minimal impact on the students as far as timing and sequencing, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
understand
let's have the conversation as soon as you get that grant, okay?
Okay.
So the language that you see here is basically
Yeah.
the status quo. Okay, Article 7. Article 7 is going to require a little bit more conversation. Article 7, we actually are going back to our original proposal that we have for you. And we believe that it probably needs a little bit more explanation so you can help understand why we are maintaining our original proposal. So I've asked Vicki to be able to speak to that because it really is an operational aspect.
Right, so our real concern comes from doing what's right for kids. In the unfortunate situation that there may be some notes of things that take time to see a pattern in totality with an employee, specifically in the situation of maybe inappropriate conduct with a kid. That maybe if an administrator is changing every year or every couple of years, no one has the opportunity to see pattern over time. That's what's most concerning. I think to us, as we talked about that, we recognize that a lot of this language comes around a trusting relationship with teachers and their supervisors, and we recognize that that hasn't always been the case. And that we both have ownership in building trusting relationships between employee groups and the administrators and district leaders. Because of the configuration of our buildings, we will change administrators in buildings. It just happens more frequently here than in other places I've been. However, having that access to the working files of the previous administrator is so important for being able to pick up on behavior patterns that could really be detrimental to students. There's language in there, I believe, about being able to purge that file every 3 years, which certainly we believe someone has the right to do. If there was that was a bad choice, or maybe, there was a perception issue of something that was going on and it's no longer a concern, absolutely that should be purged from a working document. But we are dealing with nuances sometimes that sometimes take multiple years to really be able to see that full pattern. And that's really our concern in keeping that language.
Thanks for the explanation.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vicki. Any questions?
Nope. Kane? Questions? No, not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
That's good. Fair.
Okay, the next article is Article 10, and you have in front of you a counter proposal. In substance, we appreciate what the association's interest is. We just have some language to clarify, of course, other than all the educator switch. If you look in Section 5, the opportunity, because your interest was in having the opportunity to get a meeting set up, right? So what we're saying is that within 1 business day of the district becoming aware of the circumstance giving rise to the suspension or possible discipline. So it's really the opportunity to have that meeting happen within that 1 business day. We think the 24-hour periods can be problematic, and sometimes depending on the time when we become aware of it, in which case the 24 hours we can back into that pretty quickly.
Well, if it was Friday at 4 o'clock that you learned about it, then you're like, well, that's not.
We've had business days, like days and versus school days and other
Or
parts of our
holiday,
contract that has
or,
caused those problems too,
yeah.
so I can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's really the change in that one.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
And then our 13 you have as a tentative agreement, and then the last one we have is 20, Article 20, which is tuition and PD. What we are proposing, and for operational reasons, we still believe, as Marissa was alluding to in our first discussion, that we had, our interest is in still maintaining management of the pool within a yearly basis. However, because we are going to propose a strike of one of your proposals, stricken language, I should say, you could use that word and it comes off the line. We're gonna, we recommended stricken language in one of your sections, but we like you, we value the professional development. So we agree with you on that. So we're actually going to propose an amount that is more than the amount you proposed, but put it at a yearly basis. So we're going to propose that the annual pool actually be increased to $75,000 per year for the duration of the contract, and then we readjusted those percentages to match the $75,000 per year. Okay, so we want to move back to a yearly piece, but give you a substantial amount of resources to help support that. Therefore, what we're also going to do is we're striking the very specific language that you had. I have to pull that part of it up.
There's an error.
Yeah.
Right here, it says 4750, it should just say 750.
The 4 is crossed out.
Yeah. So
It's just right across the,
well,
across the.
first.
Yeah, I can't see
You're
it
moving
anymore.
ahead. You're moving ahead of me.
I was like,
First,
4750.
on section C1, okay? C1, you had proposed that the professional development fund may also be used toward licensing fees. We maintain that the professional development fund is really about building skill. Licensure is really about an opportunity that's portable, can be taken. We appreciate that, yes, the skills you build in professional development could support licensure, but our interest is in maintaining the fund for the actual building of the skill, so the actual PD. So we're, our proposal is to strike that language from the proposal, but also we recognize still, we don't want to belittle the importance of PD, and that's a big reason why we actually have increased the amount on an annual basis. And then we get to Kim's, the piece we mentioned in section 2, where what we've done is we've adjusted that to reflect, and this is in the case when the funds have been used and then there's an opportunity to apply for extra funds if they're available, and that amount should be up to an additional $750. Now, it looks like it says $4,750, but really that scratch out line happens to be the exact spot of the cross hatch and the 4, okay?
Yeah, the young eyes down here on the
You
end.
say that now,
So
right?
it's really, it's really moving it to $750, which is, again, when you look at it, that's half of the amount of what we were originally looking at in the 1,500 you proposed, okay? So that is our proposed counter for Article 20. Does my team have any other comments
Yes,
to make on this?
I just
Marissa?
wanted to call out an error that I made in 20A around the term of the agreement. I meant to cross out what was there and put it as 2628. So when I send you the electronic format, it will have that.
So again, the specific language?
It was for the duration of the 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Yada yada CBA.
Okay. Any other comments from our team? Okay, questions from you all?
Nope.
All right.
So,
Do you have anything for us at this?
for number 3, we're fine with changing Debbie's title in the contract.
So you want us to have Marissa print out a
Yeah, if
TA
you can,
form
that would
and
be
we'll
great.
sign it?
We all have our personal computers, so we can't print anything. Because we can't print from personal and access our union stuff from our staff computers.
Did I roll my eyes out loud? Sorry.
That's why the
Yeah,
Chromebooks
sorry.
are great.
Sorry. We'll try and fix that.
And that's all you have for us right now?
And we had a question on 16 that came up while we were caucusing. For the rollover or paid out days, if a person is RIF'd and recalled, do they retain those personal days that they banked, or do they get paid out?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Because our layoff and recall specifically just says sick leave, because it hasn't needed to apply before.
Okay.
So we weren't sure if you would want that in 16, or if we want to put it in the layoff and recall, but we already had TA'd that one. So,
Because there could always be the possibility of some difference in other articles, it's probably better if you go ahead and make sure it's cataloged in that article.
in this one, okay.
I mean, it could still be copied and pasted to other articles, but I think it's good to have it called out, because we don't know yet for sure what that language ultimately may look like, so I think it's probably good.
Okay, so we'll have you for that.
Yeah.
We'll have that for you next
And
time.
then you'll have a
and
count.
add it in,
Okay.
and then we can
Sounds
TA it.
Okay,
Otherwise, we're good with everything else in there.
awesome. Okay.
We are at 5:56.
We had
Is-
2 we wanted to talk about real quick, so we can have
Okay.
language for you next time.
Okay.
If you all are willing to stay a couple minutes past.
Okay.
If that's all right. So Article 9, teacher evaluation, we wanted to open that one. And that one is we've seen an increase in the directed goals and expectations and improvement sort of document for teachers as sort of the interim between not being on a plan of improvement, but there are concerns by admin. on it. So we weren't sure if that's what was being considered as the warning then in F1, that says prior to a teacher being placed on a program of assistance for improvement, the teacher's supervisor will give the teacher a warning in writing to the teacher. If that is what the directed goals and expectations is acting as, or if it's a separate thing. Does that make sense?
I think, I mean, I think it depends on what it is, maybe, and how serious it is. I mean, if I can see a verbal warning followed by an email about, you know, like, if it was a boundary issue or something, and then maybe if it didn't improve, maybe a letter of directed goals. I mean, I think it would depend. Sorry, that's not a great answer. You know, on the severity of it.
Yeah. So then
think-
we would,
I think common practice, and I've been on the job for like 2 days, so thanks.
You're welcome.
I think common practice might be at the completion of a directed goals process, like a summary, right? A meeting that says,
Yeah.
hey, your goals were completed, you did great, congrats, right?
Yeah.
Or, hey, we're at the end of our goals and you didn't make much progress, we need to move to, right? But that I think would constitute.
Okay.
I don't know that necessarily being on directed goals would be a warning. I think there's a natural step process that happens there, that if someone isn't successful through that goals process, that it would be natural that they would be moved to a plan of assistance.
Okay.
And it doesn't really mention,
But it-
mention directed goals in here, which is, I think, which
Yeah.
we use that a lot,
We
which
use
I think
that.
that's
Yeah, which
part
is
of
why
the
we're-
question.
Yeah.
That's where the confusion lies.
yeah,
is that
so that's
we-
why, like, because for some people it has been just we have a concern, here's these goals, you've met them, we're good to go. And for some people it has turned into
Right.
being put on a plan. And so we just want to make sure that our members also understand what the directed goals process is too. So if we would like to then outline that
Okay.
in writing, if it's not considered the warning, then if it's a separate thing,
Yeah, and I
basically.
think it would be good for administrators to process it in a consistent way, you know, so that it's predictable. It's kind of like when you have kids in your class, and if it's predictable and
Yeah.
all those things, it's just easier for everybody. And so if we have a system in place, you know, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
To me.
I mean, we like the directed goals, like, it gives teachers a good pathway for guidance and everything. We just want to make sure that it's consistent across
Yeah, I
all
think
the
that's,
buildings.
that makes
So,
sense.
okay.
That makes sense. I mean, we're open to looking at,
Yeah.
better, more clear language. Is that
Okay.
how we want to put
Okay.
it?
So we should expect a proposal from you? Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, you'll get a
Very
proposal
good.
on that one then. And then the other one we want to talk about was vacancies and transfers, specifically the voluntary process, the voluntary transfer process.
What number is it?
18?
Thank you.
See, I should have brought my book.
Now you're dependent on
Yeah, now you're my buddy.
buddies.
So we wanted to clarify, and we don't know if there is already maybe an HR policy that exists outside of what is outlined here about the vacancy process. But if there is, then we would love to see it. But we want to be able to clarify that process so it's clear, because we've really seen a difference. Whoever's in the HR role year to year, it's a little bit different. Sometimes, educators have instructed you to fill out the entire application with the references and everything online in order to get that transfer. If you didn't put it in the application, like the initial application in February, you need to go apply for the whole job again. We've seen teachers just an email to somebody or just submit your cover letter.
Usually districts have an internal process and an external process, like there's the whole gamut for
Yeah.
someone that's coming from outside.
Yeah.
And then there's usually a different process that's abbreviated for teachers that are in-house.
Yeah, and we've seen every version of that across members.
That makes sense. We wouldn't want to have a system or anything.
So.
Like it to be consistent.
Yeah,
That's,
that makes sense.
that's fair.
So we weren't sure if there was already a policy that you all had that existed that we could build off of and put in here then?
There is a process that
Okay.
I've been working really hard to keep implemented, because for me, it's a matter of making sure that I have it all in one place. And so we do have an abbreviated application for teachers in talent ed.
Okay.
What has happened over the past year and a half is we had a transition in Power School, and it made it difficult for internal applicants, if they have been here with the district for a significant period of time, to go in and reapply. Like it required them refreshing their profiles and going through a smorgasbord of things. But really, all we need them to do is provide a cover letter in that application, and it
Okay.
should provide all of that information.
Okay.
So the goal there is to have all of the applications in one place, so that if somebody down the road came by and was like, hey, how many people applied for that job? Why did you select these people instead of
Yeah.
these people? An HR person 5 years from now could be like, I can show you.
Yeah, it's really important to
Okay.
leave a trail of
Yeah.
when you're hiring folks.
So that's the intended process.
Okay. And then when does an opening become a vacancy? On our definitions of openings versus vacancy, it has a teaching assignment where the current staff member is leaving or a newly created teaching assignment. And then a vacancy is available position for which applications are taken inside and outside the district. A teaching assignment where the current staff member is leaving or a newly created teaching assignment.
Excellent question.
Maybe none of us know. Maybe we only need one term.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
need
know.
one term, not both. Yeah, they shouldn't be interchanged.
You want to rock, paper, scissors over which one, or?
I prefer vacancy. Personally.
Okay. If you're open to it, we'll look at it and come up with a
Yeah,
proposal
we're
then
gonna
if you
knock yourself out. Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
an immediate explanation.
No,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we do have a couple instances, like this one specifies in vacancy, applications are taken inside and outside the district. The opening is more like, we don't want somebody outside of the district taking this TOSA position, because it's really important to us to
It's an
have
internal
somebody
opening, yeah.
internal. But, I mean, there could also be more clarification around that. if we're gonna-
Yeah. And then there's nothing that says like that what makes it internal or external if it's one or the other as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then the last question was for us, the assignment definition, teaching position within a building or across buildings. Does that mean your assignment in a building or if you move buildings, or your assignment if you're in multiple buildings?
Can you repeat how
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It says, because it says teaching position within a building or across buildings.
Mhm.
So is that saying your assignment is my one assignment where I'm at, or if I'm at this school and in another school? Is that what is multiple
Maybe it
schools
should
that
say
way?
multiple buildings instead of
Versus like,
across.
Right.
assignment means I just moved to a different building, but I'm still in my same,
Yeah, we'll have.
I think
Job title?
assignment
I think
would
it's-
include the location.
okay,
It's the, yeah.
okay. We will add that to our list too. And I believe that was it.
Okay, so we should expect a
Yep.
proposal on that one too, okay, all right. The other thing I'll mention just is, per the ground rules too, is that next session will be the third session.
Correct.
So that's the final session for the association to provide openers.
Yep.
So you'll, just want to make sure we don't
Oh,
lose
yeah.
track of those. Time will go fast.
We've
right?
got
So-
2 work sessions planned between now and our
There you
next,
go. All right.
next meeting.
And then per the ground rules, then, since you give us proposals, then we'd have the 4th opportunity to be able to come back and,
Yeah,
okay?
yep,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and we'll be ready. We know that that last set is always includes our favorite articles
Yes,
to
it
talk about,
does.
right? Okay. All right, anything from our group?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We want to wish you all a wonderful Memorial Day. Enjoy, hopefully the weather will be okay, but I did see last night that they may be expecting a little rain on Memorial Day.
yeah,
Okay, we've
That's
got a
typical.
little rain.
If it's just a little bit, then okay.
yeah,
Oh, that. We need a lot. All righty, so we'll see you all next time.
yep.
Yeah.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
Thanks.